All right, so basic design editing. This gets a little bit tricky because in 7.0, I love 7.0 so much because we have so much ability to customize, but it can also be really daunting. So what I usually tell people is, in terms of kind of editing your design, your colors, your fonts, spacing, some of those things, the best way to go about it is, get on a page that has a lot of your content. So maybe it has several different sizes of fonts or several different choices. It might have a heading 1, heading 2, your normal fonts, different colors, etc. Then you're going to go to the design panel in your admin area over here on the left. I'm going to click design, then I'm going to go to site styles. This opens up this amazing menu that I love. But from a brand new end user's perspective, it can be a little bit daunting and a little bit scary because there's a lot of things in there. So it gets very intimidating. However, Squarespace has made it easy because if you click on an area that you know you want to change, so for instance, if I click on this area that highlights in blue, it immediately changes that left-hand panel so that now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. So by clicking on this, I know this is a heading 2, and I can now edit the design of my heading 2. So I can come in here and I can change the actual font if I want to. I can change the weight of that font. I can change the size of it, obviously, how close my letters are together, how close far apart my line is. I can also transform it so that I can say I want it always to be uppercase, or I can say none and leave it the way it is. So I have that ability, and then I also have the ability to change the color. So colors in Squarespace, you can either just kind of move your cursor around until you find the color that you want. But this set of numbers here is kind of what, like, my husband likes to call it, the color recipe. So once I have one that I know I like, for instance, if I go back to show all, it'll show all of my colors or all of my content and design area. I see that this is the magenta that is kind of my branding magenta and I use everywhere. So if I copy and paste this, now this is like my color recipe for that magenta. So if I click back on my heading 2, I can now come in and actually just copy and paste that. And now I've changed, whoops, let me do this again. I have now changed that font to be my exact same, exact branding color and shade of magenta. I don't want it that color, so I'm going to actually undo and put it back to black. If you wanted to change, for instance, your buttons, that you would just click on the button that you want to change. Over here, it asks you, do you want it to be an outline, a solid, a raised button, which doesn't show up all the time, but it just kind of changes the color a little bit underneath. You can change the shape of it. You can change the text color and the font within that, including the size of the font. One thing you're going to want to notice is that, so this button here in particular is a large button. When you place a button in your website, you are actually going to have the opportunity to choose a small, medium, or large, which gives you the customization. You can change each of them to be different colors, shapes, sizes. Some can be outlined, some can be solid, etc. So let me undo my changes here. There we go. So that's how you would do the buttons. Pretty much anything in your site you can customize in this area just by clicking on it. So if I click here, I can then change my background color of my footer. You can kind of dive in and see some of these pieces that you can update and customize. If you mess something up and change it and hate it, like for instance, maybe I changed the layout, well, that didn't really do too much, but I changed the padding maybe and I make it really big and I hate it, I can just undo, get myself back to where I was, or I can simply hit cancel and get out and start back over again. So that's kind of the basics of using design and site styles. That should help you be able to customize your fonts and your colors. And then obviously if you get stuck or want to go a little bit more in depth, then you can just reach out to us, because a lot of the times when we're doing your site, like, this is not an area that you customize. This is actually a custom graphic that we used as a background banner. So some of those things you may need our help customizing, and we're always here to help you.